Okay. So the NFL draft is done. Um, Kind of a weird draft overall, There's all like the mock drafts and the big boards from everybody, and teams like there's like a few like kind of surprising moves out there, which always happens, but this year just felt kind of weird to me. But I mainly just want to talk about the Bears. I thought it was a very odd draft for the Bears. As a Bears fan, I was a little bit frustrated at times. Um, Trying to stay positive after last season. I have some trust in Ben Johnson. But then Ryan Poles just be pissing me off sometimes, man. Ugh, but we're gonna. I just want to get a few points across, I guess. Throat's a little hoarse today. Went partying last night. Yeah, but okay. Pick our first pick in you know first round. We had pick 25. Super weird having a later uh pick. You're so used to having like top 15, top 10, top 5. It was a nice kind of change of pace, But at pick 25, we started strong in my opinion. I love this pick of Dylan Thieneman from Oregon. He was my top guy out of like the targets we could realistically get. He was my top guy, and when I say realistically get, like he was like really not expected to be there. Like it was kind of like everybody kind of assumed he would go to the Vikings, because Harrison Smith moves on, and then this other white safety is coming up in the draft. Everyone's really high on him. So they're like, Vikings need safety. This is a perfect replacement. And that's what I thought. So he was in that range, kind of like middle of the teens to like very early 20s, kind of. And like he could have gone a little higher too. The board had to fall very specifically in order for us to get him, and it did. Um it helped that the Cowboys took Caleb Downs. And the fact that Caleb Downs fell to where the Cowboys could get him is pretty crazy. I was really big on Caleb Downs. I don't like the Cowboys though, so it's always annoying when a player you like goes to a team you don't like. But that's a great pickup for them. And that was another team that could have snagged him. Uh, so once he got past the Vikings, that was the first like really big hurdle. I felt like the Panthers right after them was another team that could have taken him. And the Cowboys they had drafted Caleb Down, so like were they gonna double dip? They did not, and he fell to us, which is great. And now there was other edge rushers who were available. Who safety and D line were our big, huge holes coming into this draft. And some people who are upset they want an edge rusher, but I'm like, edge rushers may be more like important position on the field, you could say. And safety's not a very flashy pick, but safety's also a very big hole for us, and we filled that. And I think we got a great player in Thieneman. He's very fast. He's physical. Exactly what the Bears want. I really like him and Kobe Bryant's pairing. I think he's a great Kevin Byard replacement. I think he's a lot like Kevin Byard, but now we got Kevin Byard, but we got him younger, faster, a little more physical, I'd say, as Kevin Byard is right now in his career. And he's gonna be wearing 31 too, which is kind of funny. But um, yeah, there's some people who are upset we didn't take an edge, but I like Dylan Thieneman much more than the edges that were available at that time. I was thrilled with the pick. I'm not gonna be like grading these picks because what the fuck do I know at the end of the day, really? But this was like an A plus pick. this was phenomenal. I thought you stuck to your guns, you were patient, worked out. I do think if Tiananmen wasn't there, you would have taken like a TJ Parker or something. Might have been a little um bit of a reach, not really. It was like you could have gone there. You would have been pleased with it because if it was a need, but Tiananmen was like their philosophy of BPA, which I have thoughts on later on, coming up shortly. But it was one of those things where like if you stick to BPA, but it also fills a positional need, it's perfect. And this is a perfect pick in my opinion. I'm super hyped about it. Then we got our second round pick, pick 57. Excuse me. This is where it kind of started going a little wonky for me. Now we pick center Logan Jones out of Iowa. Now, pick came in. I was like, okay, it is like I did want us to get a center sometime in this draft. Logan Jones, who was kind of regarded as like maybe like he was in the top echelon of centers in the draft, but he was kind of like there was a like kind of consensus around like him being maybe like the third best, and he was the first center off the board. I believe we took him first out of the group, and I'm not upset with Logan Jones as a player. I liked him. I got uh ties to the Iowa Hawkeye fan base, and you can never go wrong taking a big boy from Iowa. Never go wrong. I felt like though for him and just kind of like the center group overall, that 57 pick was a little early. Like if we took him in the third, I would have been thrilled, but we took him in the second, and I'm not upset about the pick. I felt a little disappointed because I would have liked to go D line there, but I think it's a very good pick. Uh, at the end of the day, if you just look at the draft class that we had, and you didn't see any of the pick numbers, and you just saw him, you'd be like, "Oh, sick! This is a good pick." So I'm trying to stay positive about it. I, think he's in a good spot. You have Bradbury, uh, who's in front of him this year. He can learn from him, and you can just step right into center next year. So probably redshirt this year unless we have a lot of injuries. But overall, I'm good with this pick. A little early for my like, but I'm I'm happy Logan Jones is a Bear. So then we traded our other second round pick 60. We traded back for pick 69 in the third. And we took a tight end, Sam Roush, uh, from Stanford. Um, Ryan Poles' track record in the third is not great. Um, I mean, I think it's Kron Amagaji, who was a project pick and took him in the third, which was way too high. He took Velus fucking Jones Jr. Get the fuck out of my face, Velus Jones. You suck. For us, like, what the fuck? And he's like, I don't want to talk about Velus Jones. And then you got Zach Pickens, and it's like, all these guys just don't pan out. It's like the third round is like, he just wants, like, it feels like in the third round, a lot of time when Ryan Poles is drafting, he'll draft these very kind of out of nowhere players. It's like, oh, we really weren't expecting this guy to go here. It's like, to me, I always kind of feel like when Poles is drafting, he thinks he knows something everyone else doesn't. And I mean, especially in like the third kind of round, and it just hasn't really panned out. Um, now we did need. I was kind of expecting a tight end to be picked by us. It wasn't a huge need, but we did need that third tight end. Um, because we did use tight ends a lot. but I was really expecting it to be like a much later. Um, I'm a huge Cole Kmet guy. I love Cole Kmet. Um, this definitely seems like they're trying to this year they're gonna start trying to phase Kmet out, and he'll be gone by next year. Because you have Loveland, uh, after last year's performance, he's gonna be one of the top receivers on the team in terms of receptions and usage. And Cole Kmet's that dirty work kind of guy. He's still a good pass catching tight end. He'll give you touchdowns and stuff, but use him a lot for dirty work. And he's been a great leader for us. Just been an overall great player. He's fucking Iron Man. I think he's only missed one game for us. Um, I love Cole Kmet. I love Loveland. We didn't need a third tight end. This just felt so early, out of nowhere. And you take it, pick up a position we didn't really need over a D lineman, which is where I'm going to talk about BPA. Bears preach that they're a BPA team. They're going to take the best player available. And these picks in like the middle rounds don't scream BPA to me. You're telling me Logan Jones was your BPA, Sam Roush was your BPA? Which I don't want to rag on these players. Like I think Roush is a good player too. Like it's one of those things where um if I didn't see the pick number and I saw him, I look at like his highlights and all his like stats and stuff. Like I was like, oh, this guy could be good. Um, just felt so early. Now in this round, a lot of tight ends did go off the board, so the Bears must have just felt like, hey, if we want this guy, we gotta get him now. Which I can't. If you feel good about this guy, like go get him. I like don't expect Ben Johnson just to have this dude sit on the bench. Like I expect Ben Johnson. Any offensive pick, you have to expect Ben Johnson to have a plan for. So that I'm not a fan of the pick. Like I do expect him to be used because uh Smythe, who was our tight end 3 last year, he did play. So it's like we will have a use for Roush. But like in the third round when we had bigger holes to fill, I'm not thrilled about it. Then our other third round pick. Xavier Thomas, wide receiver, LSU. Is another one of those things where we didn't really need a receiver. I'm very high on Ja'Day Walker. I really like Ja'Day Walker. Now, like I understand, like it's very like you can't expect him to just. This was an undrafted free agent we got last year. Got his way on the team after a good preseason. Didn't play much, but when he did play, he made plays. Okay, you saw him out there. He made an impact. The very few opportunities he was given. Um, and so I know like he's not guaranteed like, oh, you're wide receiver 3 or anything, but I do think he has earned like, hey, we're gonna get you involved. But then even with like Ja'Day Walker, you sign Khalif Raymond, who is a good return man. He's played with Ben Johnson in Detroit. He's gonna be that like this is like as Lamade Zaccheaus replacement basically. That third speedy guy. Um, so with this Xavier Thomas pick, this was another pick where like I saw, um, like on, I think it was Brugler or I think it's Berg. I don't know, Dan Boogler or whatever his name is. He was one of the big like draft, big board dudes. I think. He had Xavier Thomas as like player 260 overall or something, which pick him at pick 89. Like that's crazy. Now I don't like talking about, oh, this dude's like my 260th best player. It's like and like he's not in your war rooms. Like I don't really give a shit about his opinion too much, but it is odd, like pretty crazy to me that we're taking this dude 89, and for a lot of people, like he's like a sixth round type talent projection type thing. But something about this dude that I do like is he's fast as fuck. And he's if you pair him with Ben Johnson, it's gonna be fun because I think he ran a 4.28, I believe. Another good return man. So like he's an exciting player. Felt very early, and another one of those picks where it's like we have bigger needs than this. And because of Khalif Raymond, like not like I feel like it's gonna be hard for him to get on the field, which that's another thing about these picks. Eh, Like Bears had a very good year last year. They want to win now. They want to capitalize. Logan Jones, Sam Roush, Xavier Thomas aren't really win now picks. Logan Jones, like 99%, is gonna sit out this year, barring a injury to Bradbury, or maybe Bradbury just kind of shits the bed and Logan Jones like beats him for the job. It's not even a competition. You traded for Bradbury to start. Logan Jones is expected to redshirt. Sam Roush gonna play like 25% of snaps for you as a third tight end. Mainly just probably gonna block, maybe have a few plays for him. Xavier Thomas, you got Khalif Raymond and Jadea Walker in front of him right now. If he beats those guys out, hey, he beats those guys out. But like, it's looking like he's gonna have to really earn his way onto the field to get play time. And I'm not upset about like mixing in picks for the future because it's risky to just go all in on a year when like still few pieces away maybe. I don't know, but like I just a lot of these picks, like I'm just thinking, how much are they going to impact your win now with this year? Which I don't know. I'm I'm not a GM or person of high football intelligence. I'm just a fan. You know, exciting player, but in the third round, I just thought it's crazy. It's very clear the Bears just like did not think highly at all about this defensive line class. And like, hey, if you're not high on this D line class and you're high on Xavier Thomas and you're like, hey, this guy is like maybe 10th best receiver. There's this fourth best or like sixth best edge available, but like we have the sixth best edge like as our like 27th best player on our board. Thomas is like our 16th. Like I guess you take the guy you're higher on than just reaching for a position of need. I guess it's different like philosophies on that, but I mean, I really wanted us to take D lineman. I really want us to go with heavy, heavy defense in this class, and it was a lot more split. And early rounds was a lot more offense heavy, which like, I mean, I would have just thrown. I would prefer bodies on defense. That's me. But I mean, Ben Johnson must like him a lot, and I'm gonna trust my coach Ben Johnson at the end of the day. Now back to like a more exciting pick that I'm more happy about is for our fourth round pick, we got Malik Muhammad, cornerback out of Texas. This is a dude who is like, I think getting second round buzz or something, or like at least third round. Then you get him in the fourth at a kind of a sneaky position of need at corner, where Jalen was really hurt last year. When he did come back, he wasn't really playing well. Which hey, if we weren't in the playoffs, like there's no way he would have played at all at the end of the year. Like Man came back early to fight, and I love Jalen. I'm really hoping he gets back to himself this year because he's a great player when healthy. And Kyler was really hurt this year. Kind of same deal. Kind of came back to fight. Wasn't really 100%. So with them back, I'm hoping they get back healthy, stay healthy because they're both very good players. And then you get to that second like outside corner player, which was a big kind of hole for us all year. Yes, Nashawn Wright made plays, but he also gave up a lot of plays. Tyreek Stevenson just kind of seemed to fall out of favor with the staff. Like he wasn't really seeing the field that much. And so, I have Tyreek projected to start as of right now. But I don't know, it seems like Bears staff just aren't high on him anymore, which I do think Tyreek can still be a good player because he did do good things early on in the year, but then he just kind of fell off. But, there's just question marks around the position. So I think getting Malik Muhammad is a really good pick, a really good value. And I do think he could push to start this year. He could push Tyreek Stevenson. So yeah, could make an impact early. I'm really pleased about the pick. And then in the fifth round, we took a linebacker, Keyshawn Elliott, as Arizona State. It's just, you know, uh, putting bodies on defense. I'm not gonna complain about that. I really don't know much about him, but one of our, we re-signed Jack Sanborn. Bring him back in the fold. You got who I've always been a big Sanborn guy. He wasn't playing well in Dallas this year, but bring him back in to be more of a depth piece. I mean, maybe he doesn't make the team, but I hope he does. And yeah, Noah Sewell, who was on the field last year a lot due to injuries, but then he got hurt himself. He's coming off, what is it? Like an Achilles or something? So I don't know. So then you need depth at the position still. You got T. Edwards and Devin Bush, who they're gonna be the starters. Then you got the third guy who's kind of up for grabs. But man, you got the Ruben Hippolyte of it all. The Ruben Hippolyte, who was our like fourth round pick last year, who like nobody fucking knew about. And then maybe got one game where he played due to injuries, but then he got hurt himself and he was rarely on the field. Couldn't even make special teams. Like your fourth round pick can't even play on special teams. What's going on? But Hippolyte, I'm holding out hope for. He's fast for a linebacker, so like I'm like you'd think he could at least contribute on special teams, but it was crazy. He like didn't see the field last year, and we had so many injuries on defense. I and then, we also have the Marco Jackson back, which I liked Marco Jackson. He played well for us last year. So yeah, uh, linebacker depth is definitely a position you could have added to. So I'm not upset about that. But yeah, in our sixth round pick, our final pick, we finally went D line. Jordan Vandenberg from Georgia Tech. Don't know much about him. You add some pieces to the D line, which I'm happy about. Wish we did it earlier, but that's just how it goes. Uh, at least we picked the defense in the first. They must. They had to have just hated this year's D line class, and the players that they were like they just went uh before they got their chance, and they didn't really want to trade up. Which okay, I mean, okay, yeah, I can respect it, but our D line was bad last year. Our whole defense was bad last year. It was covered up with the makeup that was takeaways. But then They must be really high on Austin Booker, which I do really like Austin Booker. He was coming on strong last year. Um, so hopefully he takes that other step. Um, Montez has been solid throughout. He's kind of disappears at times, but there's really no threat on the D line, and he's like the one with like the most impact, I guess. So teams are gonna pay more attention to him. So can't really do much. He still contributes at times, but he can't be the main guy. We need to add more power, speed on the line. But yeah, Shamar Turner, who was our was he a third round pick? I don't know. He was relatively early, I think, last year. But then he got hurt early. Who he plays like inside and edge. And then there's Dio Odengbo, who was an overpay free agent from last year, edge player. Really didn't do much. I think he played for the Colts. Didn't really produce much, but like his physical nature is so like good. Like you really Pulls like sign him because of what they thought he could turn into. Uh, didn't play a lot of games. Got hurt early on, but for the games he did play, he rarely get his name said. Like you'd forget he was there. Then you like see him on the field, and you'd be like, "Oh yeah, we had that new edge. What the fuck has he been doing?" So hopefully he comes back, you know, motivated, uh, and just turns on the Jets. I'm not really expecting that. Um, you're betting a lot on Austin Booker, I feel like. Um, and I like Austin Booker. I think he's a great rotational edge, but I don't know if he can be that like guy. I hope he is. I just don't. I feel it's risky to bet on that. Like, and D like our D tackle, we signed that Gallimore guy, which but he's not like a huge like piece. He's I'm good piece to add to the line, but he's gonna like not gonna move the needle a whole lot. I feel like you're betting a lot on Javon Dexter and Austin Booker, expecting them to just turn the page. Uh, I don't know. Like, I hope they sign somebody out there. You got Clowney available. You got Bosa available. Cam Jordan. One of those guys would be nice. Um, Jordan, I wouldn't really. Well, Jordan's so old, but he's still so like effective. I feel like I would like Clowney because I feel like Clowney's just the most consistent. He always puts up numbers no matter where he goes. But yeah, I hope we're not done adding to the line. Um, we didn't take a left tackle, which was another position I thought we would look at. I mean, Taylor Decker's still available, so maybe like you do still take a gander at Decker. I'd be pretty cool about that. Um, Ozzy most likely he's not going to play this year. Um, Signed Jedrick Wills as like a kind of reclamation project, which maybe that could work out. Brought Braxton Jones back, which as like he's just kind of like a security blanket. I feel like he can play. He's not going to do great, but he can play. So after the draft, your secondary is complete, I'd say, with Ganneman now. Then you bring in Muhammad as that CB2 competition. Then you also have Zaire Frazier, who mysteriously like didn't play last year, who was a late round pick for us. So he'll be back this year. We'll see what he can do. Terrell Smith coming back from injury, and then linebackers are set. You got Devin Bush, you got TJ Edwards, who this could probably be his last year with us. Then it's just the linebackers at least should be solid. And then you have the D line, which is the most question marks. I did really think we had a chance at Dexter Lawrence, but Bengals giving a 10th, like you can't beat that. You can't beat that. Excuse me. So yeah, I'm nervous about the season. It's weird going into a season with expectations. Um, yeah, yeah. That's my thoughts on the Bears draft. Um, I didn't really want to go into like the whole draft as a whole. I don't really. There's a lot. I do want to talk about Ty Simpson real quick. I expected Ty Simpson to go in the first round. I thought it was gonna be very late when somebody would trade back in, like at pick like 29 at the earliest. 13 to the Rams, pretty crazy. The Rams like going all in on the like Stafford's year to year at this point. This could be his last year. I know there are talks about an extension, but even if they did decide an extension, he could still hang up at any time. So getting a succession plan in place is good. But if you're trying to win now with Stafford, using that 13th overall pick on a quarterback who isn't going to play for you, while Stafford's on the team, definitely understandable why fans are upset. I mean, it worked for the Packers, for their well, Favre, Rodgers to love, but I don't know. You could have really helped Stafford here, but instead you're helping your organization's future, which I mean, if you got Matt Stafford coming off MVP season, you should try to capitalize on that. I feel like, but whatever. Okay, that's just kind of my thoughts. See ya.